Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for WLBT Plus. My name is Kara Shirley, your digital news desk host, and it is Thursday, July the 17th. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching on our mobile app or through our website, we appreciate you watching there. And if you're on any of our social streams, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, we appreciate you tuning in there as well. I want to remind you that you can always join the conversation if you have any questions, thoughts, suggestions. Anything like that, you can always put that in the comment section of our social stream. So thank you so much for tuning in there. We do have some breaking news to get to you right now that we just received from the Rankin County Sheriff's Department. And that breaking news is two teenagers were arrested for a shooting that happened last night in Star, Mississippi. So the press release that we received from the Rankin County Sheriff's Department says that it happened around 9:44 last night, or at least that is when they received the 911 call regarding a shooting that happened at 568 Eddie Williams Drive in the Star community. So this is the location of where the shooting happened. And I'm going to zoom out for you guys so you can see, get a better idea of where this is. So Star is south of Florence. We have Florence right here to the top left of your screen, and the red dot kind of in the center is where the shooting happened. So what we were told is that deputies responded to the scene where they found a victim who was suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. The victim, whose name is being withheld at this time, was transported later to UMMC, where the victim is in stable condition. So as investigators were on the scene, they received information that the people on your screen here were the suspects. So we have Ariana Mache Garrett, age 18, of Florence, and Ladarius James Harrison, age 17, of Brandon. So Garrett was detained when deputies initially arrived on the scene, and then the second suspect, Ladarius, was located and arrested later on Cherry Bark Drive near the reservoir. So Ariana Garrett has been charged with conspiracy to commit a felony. She has a bond that has been set at $100,000. Ladarius has been charged with attempted murder, and he will be prosecuted as an adult. His bond has no word rather on what his bond, or if a bond has been set for him at this time. Also, both of these suspects are being housed at the Rankin County Detention Center. So as we receive more information on this shooting, as we receive information on the victim and who that victim is, we will certainly pass that information along to you. But these two teenagers, again, let me pull this back up here. These two teenagers were taken into custody in relation to a shooting that happened in Star last night just before 10 p.m. Again, Ariana, age 18, has been charged with conspiracy to commit a felony, and Ladarius, age 17, has been charged with attempted murder. You can follow us here on air and online, and we will keep you updated regarding this shooting. And we are also getting new information on a missing Missouri woman whose remains may have been found in Lawrence County. So authorities say that Charles Sims led them to the woman's remains, and he is now a suspect in the disappearance of Latadra Williams of Kansas City. This is Charles Sims here on your screen, as well as the victim, Latadra Williams. So the body was found on Monday in the southern part of the county, east of Highway 27. You can see here where that location is. So Sims took authorities to the remains, which was about a quarter mile deep into a wooded area. Williams had been missing for nearly 2 months. Lawrence County Sheriff Ryan Everett says that Sims was initially arrested for stealing the victim's car, but then ended up taking the deputies to her body. And here is what the sheriff had to say regarding that.
He took us to a wooded area off of Callie May Lane. Callie May Lane is a one-lane dead-end road. There's several family members live on it. And he took us to where, he showed us where he buried her at. This is something we got a lot of pieces that we're gonna have to get put together.
And we will certainly keep you updated on this as the investigation continues. And traffic is moving again on I-20 in Hinds County after the driver of an 18-wheeler was seriously injured in a crash yesterday. However, there has been an update from MDOT regarding the bridge that the driver crashed into. I'm going to get to that in just a second. So the Highway Patrol says that this happened in the westbound lanes of I-20 under Highway 22 at the Edwards exit. State troopers say that the driver of the truck was trapped in the wreckage. You can see it here on your screen. The rig got lodged underneath the bridge. The driver had to be airlifted to a hospital for treatment for some serious injuries. Now, it's not clear what caused the wreck. The interstate is back open. However, because of this crash, MDOT has announced that travelers will be unable to cross SR 22 over I-20 in Edwards. Both directions of the bridge, which is at exit 19, have been closed until crews are properly able to assess and repair the damage that was caused to that bridge. So if you travel over this bridge, again, that is exit 19 off of I-20 into Edwards, you really should seek alternate routes during this temporary closure. Once the bridge opens back up and we are notified by MDOT, we will pass that information along to you as well. And police have made an arrest in a deadly shooting in a block party, from a block party in Brandon. Chief Joseph French says that Ryan Mosley, which he is here on your screen, has been charged with first-degree murder in the death of Rashad Collier on Mary Miles Drive last month. Mosley was also hurt in the shooting and was arrested once he was released from the hospital. He's also being charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and his bond was set at $1 million. And then also in Brandon, 3 teenagers have been arrested for burglary and aggravated assault. So Travian Spann and Cedric O'Neill, both age 16, and a 15-year-old have now been charged. Police say they forcibly entered a home wearing masks and tried to get into a bedroom where they believed that a firearm was being stored. Family members were physically assaulted by 2 of the teens. Spann and O'Neill are charged with burglary of a dwelling and aggravated assault with the deadly weapon. The 15-year-old, who is not being identified because of his age, is charged with burglary of a dwelling. And Spann and O'Neill also face some other charges in unrelated metro area crimes. And we are continuing to follow the story that we first reported to you here on 3 on Your Side, where authorities say that Rudy Warnock may have tried to take his own life just a couple of hours after he was found guilty in a federal corruption trial in Jackson. So the Rankin County Sheriff Brian Bailey says deputies responded to a crash on I-20 east of Pelahatchie. And you look on your screen, you can see the map where the crash scene was. When they arrived, Bailey says that deputies found Warnock was involved in the crash. He was out of his car with what appeared to be slash wounds on his wrist and neck from what appears to be a suicide attempt. So, of course, earlier yesterday afternoon, after deliberating for about 2 hours and returning a unanimous verdict, Warnock was found guilty on 4 federal corruption charges. Those include 2 counts of conspiracy to commit bribery, 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and wire fraud. Cleveland Anderson was also convicted on 2 counts of conspiracy to commit bribery. Warnock and Anderson were indicted back in 2021 in connection with the bribery scheme, and they are now set to be sentenced November the 18th. And we are continuing to follow a story about a Jackson apartment complex that has become an eyesore and really a hub for illegal activity. You probably remember us telling you all about and following Chapel Ridge Apartments here in Jackson. So the complex is currently without an owner and a property manager. Due to the neglect, the property has now been declared a nuisance. So let me actually make this full screen for you guys so you can see everything there is. So we went inside one of the empty apartments there. You can see the trash, debris, mold everywhere. So the owner of the apartment complex is behind bars after pleading guilty to wire fraud in another state. Now, to make matters worse, the complex hasn't had a property manager for roughly 6 months. So city leaders say the easiest solution is to have a company come and manage the property. However, they are not having any luck with that.
So far, the City of Jackson, have had 3 management companies that have stepped up, and they went out and looked, and they both, all 3 came back and said no, they didn't want to accept it. We do, however, have another option, and that option is a nonprofit company. We're going to try to see if we can get that nonprofit to come on board.
The city is also considering whether or not to board up the empty units there at the complex. They say city leaders believe that this will help prevent squatters from moving in and trashing the property any further. And the annexation battle between Madison and Gluckstadt isn't over just yet. So attorneys for Gluckstadt are appealing the Madison County Chancery Court's decision upholding their plan to annex more than 4.6 square miles of property to its north. As you can see here on the screen, that little orange area, and I'm going to actually restart the video for you so you can get a better view of the property that is wanting to be annexed. It is the one that's outlined in red right there in the top of your screen. So the city filed a notice of appeal on July 11th after Chancellor James Walker handed down his final ruling in the case. So this matter is now going to go before the Mississippi Supreme Court. Again, this area is about 4.39 square miles north of Madison's current city limits and includes territory that will be opened up for development as part of the Reunion Parkway expansion project. And yesterday, gospel legend Mama Rosie Mama Burks was laid to rest. She was known for her soul-stirring performances with the Mississippi Mass Choir. So hundreds filled Greater Bethlehem Temple Apostolic Church for the musical send-off. Mama Burks was convinced to become a member of the award-winning Mississippi Mass Choir back in 1996, as she was actually featured on a Disney film, America's Heart and Soul. And she was best known for her songs, This Morning When I Rose, They Got the Word, and I'm Not Tired Yet. She performed with the choir all over the world, including performing for the Pope, and she also toured Spain and South Africa. Mama Burks died July the 7th at the age of 92. And what a great legend and a great gift to have for Mississippi and the Mississippi Mass Choir by having her be a part of it. We're going to look at our forecast here in just a moment. Before we do that, though, let's hear from our sponsors at Jackson Water.
At Jackson Water, we are in the game and locked in on our goals. Every day, our dedicated teams are hard at work, ensuring that clean, reliable water flows to every home and business in Jackson. We are not just fixing pipes. We're investing in a brighter, more resilient future for our city. Jackson Water. Water for all the time.
And again, thank you to Jackson Water for sponsoring Wlbt Plus, making it possible for us to bring you this show weekdays at 1 o'clock. So let's take a look outside right now. Let's see what our current temperatures are across the metro area. And we are sitting very warm in the 90s across most of the area. Some places in the upper 80s, but for the most part, we are in the 90s. Now, you have to also keep in mind that we have a very high heat indices. We are in triple digit heat indices. For instance, right now in Jackson, while the temperature may be 91 degrees, the feels like temperature is 100 degrees. So again, like I've been saying every day, if you're outside, make sure you stay hydrated and you try to rest in shade or better yet, air conditioning. We look at our current radar. You see there is some rain across our viewing area in Jefferson Davis, Smith County, and down in Wilkinson County. And over the next 12 hours, we are looking at an increased chance of rain around 5 o'clock, which is typical for summertime here in Mississippi, but we are going to drop off to a 0% chance of rain into the overnight hours. Our 7-day forecast does include a heightened chance of rain, especially once we reach Friday and Saturday, and that's because of the tropical system that is out in the Gulf right now. That tropical system has weakened some. But to get the information on that, you want to be here at 2:30 for our First Alert Weather Team. They're going to be able to explain it to you in a lot better terms than I can. I can just tell you that it's weekend. They can go into depth with you. So make sure you're here at 2:30 for our First Alert Weather Team. So mental health experts say that they are seeing more children misbehave and even in some cases turn violent when their cell phones and their tablets are taken away, which is could be kind of scary and sad actually to also think about. So that's among many issues that are being addressed at a 3-day summit called Responding to an Anxious Generation. This was organized by Canopy's Children's Solutions. Experts say many kids raised with the latest technology have grown dependent on those devices. They say parents should limit screen time and monitor their use of the electronic devices. You can begin to process by imposing structure and also engaging with your child.
Know that you have the right as a parent to set the standards and goals in your home, set into a routine. What's the routine going to look like?
Don't use the technology as a babysitter, right? Let's leverage it as a tool, monitor the tool, but then create relational engagement that's giving kids' brain what they need.
Chapin is, I'm at the summit does continue, through tomorrow at the Sheraton here in Flowood.
Know that
so we will, I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's something that needs to happen, giving kids more structure with their devices. I probably need to have more structure with my devices and screen time as well. I think that could probably go for everyone. Now we're turning to Atlanta, where SEC Media Days is continuing there. We are heard from Mississippi State Bulldogs, who are looking to bounce back after a tough season. This happened yesterday. We heard from them yesterday, rather. They had a tough season riddled with injuries, most notably starting quarterback Blake Shapen, who also suffered a season-ending injury. So Shapen played in just 4 games last year, finishing with a 68% completion rate, 974 passing yards, 8 passing touchdowns, and just 1 interception. It was in the 4th quarter of the Florida game when Shapen suffered his season-ending injury. And he says it was tough to stay off the field after that, but it gave him some time to reflect and to prepare for what he hopes will be his first entire season to play since 2022.
I think for me, just staying healthy, I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind. I want to be able to play a full season of college football. Haven't been able to do that since like 2022. So that's the biggest goal for me. For our team, I think we just want to go 1-0 every single week. Don't look too far ahead. Obviously, we play a tough schedule, but just staying true to each week and being very focused on it individually.
He is now entering his 2nd season there in Starkville, and he says he is ready to take the Jeff Libby offense to the next level. Meanwhile, the SWAC Media Day happened yesterday in Birmingham. Jackson State head coach T.C. Taylor says the Tigers' mindset in the preseason has been that 2024 is in the past. He says the team is striving to take new steps this fall as JSU chases its fourth SWAC championship in 5 years. Alcorn State head coach Cedric Thomas says that his staff has been focused on size and consistency in the offseason. And he says the Braves have searched the transfer portal hard, and he is challenging his team to get tougher for the game days this season.
We got to be better than last year because I told you once you reach that plateau, everybody's chasing that right now. So we got to take those next 2 or 3 steps to be different than we was last year. But again, we got a really solid football team. We got a lot of talent coming back, but they know everybody's going to kind of be gunning for us. And we look at the guys who had success in this league. They was about 2 inches taller and about 25 to 30 pounds heavier. And so from a recruiting standpoint, we made sure that we rectified that. And then now the guys just got to understand to continue to believe in the system and just go out and work hard. But also we just got to execute at a high level.
JSU opens the season at home against Hampton University on August the 30th, and the Braves' first game will be at Northwestern State on August the 28th. And we want to remind you about a school supply drive that we are doing, partnering with Raising Cane's. School season is almost here. JPD schools are going back on the 28th. Rankin County schools are going back on the 31st. I'm getting my days confused. But yeah, the JPD starts on the 28th. Rankin County starts on the 31st. Plus, multiple other schools around our area will be starting soon. That's why we, along with Raising Cane's, are wanting to help prepare students for the upcoming school year. So you can stop by Sam's Club in Madison through Friday to donate to school supplies. You will find us out there from 8 until 6 in the evening, so 8 in the morning until 6 in the evening at the Sam's Club in Madison. And if you scan this QR code here on your screen, you can also go and order school supplies. They will be delivered right here to our station, and we will put those in with the school supply drive so you can contribute to that and help us prepare kids around our area to get back to school and have a successful school year. Well, guys, that is going to be it for WLBT Plus today. I appreciate all of you tuning in and watching with me. First Alert Weather Team will be here at 2:30, and I will be back tomorrow for WLBT Plus at 1, and tomorrow morning for the top 3 from WLBT. I hope to see you then, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.